the amount of in-person instruction while keeping their school communities healthy. Teachers, administrators, and school personnel have done tremendous things for their students since the beginning of the pandemic. As intermediate units, we are happy to play a role in working with our state partners at the Pennsylvania Department of Education and the Governor's Office to serve as host sites for the administration of these vaccines, so all school personnel can get back to the good work of educating the children of our Commonwealth. Additionally, I'd like to thank the Luzerne IU-18 vaccination team, many of them who are in attendance with us today, and I extend my sincere gratitude for your countless hours of hard work that made our vaccine clinic such a success. We'd also like to extend our appreciation to the many partners who had a tremendous and critical impact on this effort. Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency, the Pennsylvania Department of Health, Pennsylvania National Guard, and our partners at AMI Healthcare Services. Again, we are honored to have Governor Wolf with us today, and on behalf of the educators across the state, we'd like to thank you. At this time, I'd like to officially turn the program over to the Honorable Governor Tom Wolf. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Tony, and it's nice to be here. And I want to also acknowledge Representatives Kozarowski and Carroll. Bridget is actually one of the, what do we have, 7 members on the bipartisan task force, Republicans, and 4 members of the General Assembly, a Republican House member, a Democratic House member, Bridget, a Democratic senator, and a Republican senator. And we have really worked together. We just had we meet at least twice a week. Yesterday was our last meeting, and at that meeting, I think we were 22nd in the country. There's a group called Becker that actually ranks the states every day as to how we're doing in getting our vaccines out. We were ranked 22nd yesterday. They changed at around 10 o'clock every day. Right now we're 18th, so we've moved up 4 slots just since then. The U.S. average, if I sound like I'm bragging here about what we're doing at the task force, it's true, I am bragging. The United States average on first doses into arms is right now 30%. Pennsylvania is 32.4%. We're 13th in the country. In terms of second doses, the U.S. average is 17, and that's been one we've struggled around. We've been around the average point. We're actually above average. We're at 17.2%. And we're tied for 25th there. So we are making some real progress, and it's in no small part a tribute to the efforts of members of the task force. And I think we're all working together really. We were just talking about that, and in this intensely partisan age, we actually have all pulled together, and I think done some really good work. So thank you, Bridget, for your service on that. And Tony, thank you again for that introduction. We're here to talk about another tremendous, and this is a day for bragging, I guess. So we're talking about what an amazing job everybody has done to get us where we are with our educators. And as you know, we had a conversation with folks, with Rich and some of the leaders of the PSEA to talk about how we might get our teachers and our students back into the classroom, and one of the frustrations was the vaccination. I mean, we were having that struggle across the board. I mean, it's getting so much better now, but man, when we started, this was a struggle, but it was especially a struggle for teachers. Unless you were 65 or older or had one of those underlying conditions, you know, you were really stuck. And so we needed to figure out a way to get the teachers back into the classroom, get the students back, and it's something that they wanted to do. I was on a radio program this morning, and the interviewer said that there's a member of the House who is saying we need to have a bill that mandates that students are back in school by September. And how do I feel about that? And I said, I'm not sure that anybody disagrees with that, and I don't know why you'd want to make anybody do that. Just let's, allow this to happen, and I think that's what this process has been. We set out, I think, a really ambitious goal, and that was by the middle of April to have every teacher in Pennsylvania, every school bus driver, every cafeteria worker, every janitor, member of the janitorial staff in private and public schools, and have early child care folks the folks who were doing child care before they even got to school or pre-K, to have all of them vaccinated by the middle of April. We actually achieved that by Wednesday, this past Wednesday, 2 weeks early. And it's a real tribute to everybody who worked on this process. And so there are so many people and groups to thank, and I think Tony did a good job of thanking a lot of the organizations. But let me just say again, the intermediate units, this was the idea that we would do this through the intermediate units, again, public and private schools. And they made facilities like this available. And all across Pennsylvania, I think 29 intermediate units, but the 29th is in Philadelphia, so 28 intermediate units participated, did a phenomenal job. Of course, the Department of Education, Pennsylvania Department of Education did a phenomenal job. The National Guard, AMI. Where are the AMI folks? Are any AMI folks here today? No? Okay. They did a really nice job. And the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency. So they set up the clinics. And I also want to thank the teachers and the organizations who represent the teachers, the Pennsylvania State Education Association, the American Federation of Teachers, and all the partners, the organized partners that we have really worked together to make this a success. And we could not have reached this milestone without all these people who work with and for these organizations to do this. So I hope that we have you all in the education field have some time to recharge, because you really did work hard, long hours, weekends and weekdays, and it really made a difference. And again, thanks to everybody who did this. And again, I know we're going to hear from a teacher in just a minute, Vito, but every teacher in school district, staff member, contractor, for stepping up and getting the vaccination. It's one thing to make it this and organize this and make it available, but it's quite another, and absolutely as important that folks come up and get the vaccine. So Pennsylvania school employees have gone above and beyond. That's no question about it over the past year to help students keep learning. And this was just part of that going over and above and beyond the challenges that we have all faced over this past year. Many schools are already offering in-person learning, and this initiative is just going to help more students and teachers get back into the classroom quicker and safer than we would have had we not done this. The money Pennsylvania is going to receive, by the way, in the American Rescue Plan should be good for education. I think almost $5 billion is coming to the schools. And that can be used in a variety of ways. I think we're still trying to learn all the ways that it will be used, but that's going to be a welcome thing. Again, we know that students, we know that teachers, parents, everybody wants to be back in the classroom. That's where students can learn and laugh and grow. At least that's what we used to do when I was in school. And completing our special vaccination initiative is a really big step toward getting this back on track, getting all of us back on track, and getting our kids back into the school and our teachers back into the school as quickly and, more important, as safely as possible. Vaccines are the light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to this pandemic. And with the completion of this special initiative on education, we're one step closer to the end of that tunnel. And that's something for everyone in the Commonwealth to celebrate. It took a lot of hard work, but we're really getting there. So I really want to thank you for everything that you've done. And now I'm really pleased to turn this over to the president of the Pennsylvania State Education Association, Rich Askey. Rich.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.
So good afternoon, everyone. I am very happy to be here today and being a part of this. It's hard to believe that it was only a month ago when Pennsylvania launched this special vaccine initiative for educators, support professionals, and child care workers. And a lot has happened since then. Thanks to so many people here today, we have gotten shots in the arms of well over 100,000 hardworking professionals who teach and work with our young people. That's extraordinary. I want to thank the Joint COVID-19 Vaccine Task Force, and of course Governor Wolf, and supportive policymakers and officials for making this happen in such a remarkably short time. And I want to thank the intermediate units, school administrators, and National Guard members for handling the endless details and the logistics of making this happen. All of you working together have made this program the success that it is. So today is a turning point in the lives of our schools and our students here in Pennsylvania, and PSEA members are excited about what lies ahead. Some schools are reopening their doors after many months of remote instruction, while many more are expanding their schedules to bring students back into the classroom more days of the week. This is happening because of the people in this room and many others who took decisive action 1 month ago to get vaccines out to those school employees who want them. You have helped ensure a safer environment for in-person instruction in our schools, protecting the health of educators, support professionals, students, and yes, their families too. And like I said, PSEA members could not be happier than they are today. Throughout this whole year, they have gone above and beyond to teach and serve the students wherever they are. But the one thing they wanted more than anything else was to be in school in person with their students. Now, thanks to this initiative, that's exactly what is happening. So we must continue to follow all of the safety measures that are in place in our school buildings. The pandemic is not over, but we are in a path to getting more students back into the classroom and our economy back on track. That is a milestone that we have been looking forward to for a very, very long time. So again, thank you all for making this happen. Now, I've been waiting to say this. Let's get back to school. Yeah, let's give that a round of applause. That's a great thing. So I'm going to hand over the microphone now to one of our members, but more importantly, a teacher. Vito Malakari, he's a 12th grade social studies teacher, Northwest Area School District, and he also serves his colleagues as president of the Northwest EA. So, Vito.
Thank you, Rich. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Grieco, Governor Wolf, Rich, Secretary Ortega, for having us here today. My name is Vito Malakari, and I'm a teacher at the Northwest Area School District. And I'm proud to represent not only Northwest Area, but the teachers around the Commonwealth today, and thanking you, Governor Wolf, for your initiative to get us vaccinated. I'd also like to thank Rich for pushing with PSEA to get all teachers vaccinated, Secretary Ortega for pushing for the best policies for teachers, and Mr. Grieco and the IU. 3 weeks ago today, I was lucky enough to get vaccinated here. I was here for 25 minutes, in and out. The next day, I felt a little sore, and on Monday, when I saw my kids in school, it was a pleasure to teach them, every single one of them. I can't thank everybody who was a part of this vaccination clinic enough, from AMI to the National Guard to helping us every step of the way. It was a well-oiled machine that ensured when we saw students on Monday or in the coming weeks that we feel safe around them, our families, and our loved ones. I like to also make sure that all teachers, support staff, aides, cafeteria workers, custodians, cleaners, bus drivers, van drivers, special education aides, and so on, that receive the vaccine, and how thankful we are that we're able to be prioritized along with other essential workers and frontline workers in the state. Personally, knowing that we are vaccinated and are a priority in this state is something that means the most to all of us. It makes us feel supported, and we're a part of the greater good within the state of Pennsylvania and the country as a whole. Getting the vaccine provided me the confidence to be around my kids daily, 100 students at Northwest Area. And without our superintendent, Mr. Long, pushing us to get the vaccine and encouraging us to get the vaccine so that we can reopen our doors to all students from pre-K to 12 was the most important thing. Interacting with our students, being around them, and enjoying the pleasure and company, 6 feet apart, of course, as much as we possibly could. That's where real learning occurs for us. Being hybrid, that was okay. Being on Zoom, that wasn't very fun. But having our kids in front of us is why we became teachers. And without that vaccine and that program, we wouldn't be able to do what we do and do what we love daily. We all got into the world of education to support teachers, and without state representatives, state senators, governors, local IUs, the Secretary of Education, and of course PSEA, we wouldn't be able to do that safely. So I really just want to say thank you again to everybody that was a part of this. Our doors are open, and they will continue to open around the Commonwealth. Teachers, Aides, cafeteria workers will serve our students just like we did before and like we will in the future. Kids belong in classrooms, and every teacher knows that, and that's what we want. So thank you again. It's now my pleasure to introduce the Secretary of Education in Pennsylvania, Noé Ortega.
Thank you, Vito, and thank you everyone as well for joining us here today. I'm pleased to staying alongside Governor Wolf, IU Director Grieco, President Askey, and Educator Vito as well. You know, today is really about celebrating what has been accomplished over a short period of time, but also thinking the impact this historic day is going to have on our students. This special initiative to vaccinate our educator staff has been fantastic, and I want to thank members of the Joint Legislative Task Force and everybody that played a role. On March 3rd, Governor Wolf and the COVID-19 Vaccine Task Force announced they would make teachers a priority for the one-dose Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine as part of a special initiatives. Communities across Pennsylvania immediately took action, moving mountains and collaborating around the clock to ensure tens of thousands of teachers and school staff had access to the vaccine. Less than a month later, here we stand, all of us collectively recognizing this truly historic and epic event. I extend my deepest gratitude to our intermediate units. Without you, we would have not been able to do this. Our school leaders, our colleagues at the Pennsylvania Department of Health, PEMA, the National Guard, AMI, the State Fire Academy, Governor Wolf, the COVID-19 Vaccination Task Force, thank you for your leadership and tireless commitment to our educators, staff, students, families, and communities. After the past year, which has been full of unpredictable, unimaginable shifts to our educational systems, we are now closer than ever to safe and increasing the provision of in-person instruction for learning, growing across Pennsylvania. I must remind our communities that mitigation strategies remain essential to operating safe in-person environment. The completion of this initiative, combined with those strategies, help create the conditions needed for our students, educators, and staff to safely get together again. We have been making history since March of 2020, and today marks the beginning of a new chapter in our collective history. I look forward to this new chapter and all that follows as we continue this journey forward together. Thank you for the opportunity to join you today. Let me now turn the podium back over to Governor Wolf as we move to answer some questions. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Noé. Now, any questions? Yes.
Governor, you mentioned Pennsylvania plumbing the ranks.
Right here.
Governor, you mentioned Pennsylvania climbing the ranks when it comes to people with at least one dose. The CDC's COVID data tracker shows similar numbers, Pennsylvania climbing the ranks nationally. What do you attribute that to? Because it seems like the state has had a surge in the last 10 to 14 days, don't you think?
Yeah, I really give a lot of credit to the task force. I think we've worked closely together across the aisle, and I think agencies have worked together on this, and I think different organizations. I think what happened here is just an example of, you know, you come up with some great ideas, but it's really in the implementation. And again, we all thought we were being pretty aggressive when we said, let's get everybody through senior high school vaccinated with this Johnson & Johnson vaccine, one-dose vaccine, by the middle of April. And the intermediate units like this one stepped up and did a phenomenal job. I was telling Representative Kozarowski, we have some fairly conservative folks on the task force, but one of them has a wife who is a teacher, and he volunteered that she had gone to get the vaccine at the intermediate unit, I think in Lancaster County, and was just blown away by how smooth the process was. Just what Vito said, that you know, went in, got the shot, you know, and went out and was able to get back to teaching. So I think what has happened is everybody has recognized we all want this. We're tired of life as it has been over the last more than a year. And the vaccine is the light at the end of the tunnel, but we've got to do a good job of getting it into arms. Pennsylvania had some initial challenges that smaller states did not have. I think West Virginia immediately was the #1 state back when it started. The bigger states, by virtue of their size, just took a little bit longer, I think, to get ramped up. Right now, by the way, the 10 largest states in the country by population, Pennsylvania is #1 in terms of first and tied for #1 in second doses into arms. So yeah, we really have done well, and I think it's because we've all worked together. We've gotten this big ship moving and moving very effectively.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Governor
Yeah.
Wolf, Cody Bowen, WBRE,
Mhm.
Paul as well. Thank you for coming to Luzerne County so we can ask you questions directly.
Sure.
I think one of just doing stories, and I think one of the frustration are the rural communities up in Susquehanna,
Yes.
Wyoming, and Bradford County. I know their frustration with county leaders up there is that they can't get in contact with Department of Health or they won't return. And they're nervous that they're not getting enough vaccines to vaccinate in rural communities. What can you say on that front is to get people in rural communities the vaccines that they need? Because up in Susquehanna County, one of the hospitals are not administering vaccines.
Huh.
So what can you say to rural communities so they can get vaccinated as well?
Right. Well, first of all, I meet every 2 weeks with the County Commissioners Association and occasionally meet with the entire group of county commissioners when they get together infrequently, but when they do, I meet with them. And we have folks who meet with them even on a more frequent basis, the executive committee or board, to make sure that we're in communication, and if there are problems, I think we're pretty quick to respond. But you point out a really good point. One of the issues with rural Pennsylvania is that it's harder to get to. We have a good footprint of providers, I think, with our pharmacy footprint. We've worked with counties like Susquehanna County and others to figure out what's the best way to set up mass vaccination sites to get shots into arms of people who are harder to reach. And then we recognize that has some real challenges. The big challenge we've all faced up till now has been the supply issue. That keeps getting better and better, and I think as that gets better and we get back to the original your question, we get to figure out how to make sure these shots go into arms in a more efficient way, and recognize that there are different challenges, different populations, and different places that have an easier or harder time getting to a place that might have the vaccine. We will figure that out. We all want to get these vaccines into arms, and to the extent we have to work through specific challenges in different areas, we will do that.
I know, just branching off your point, as far as the max vaccination sites, I know some of these rural communities, they have said, listen, we can front a clinic and get them, and I know that's probably the reason
Right.
why there's lack of vaccines to be able to do
Right.
that. And then you have the senior population up in those rural communities that can't travel the 60 miles to a vaccination site. Just where's the planning stages? Because I know by middle to end of April, everyone will be able to get a vaccine.
19th, everybody will be eligible.
So I know that's going to be
That's when I'm going to
difficult.
sign up for my vaccine. I think right now, and this changes all the time, but we talk about how we're going to reach these. Right now, I think we see three broad ways to get out. One is the pharmacy partnership. The pharmacies have really good logistics skills. And so, and we have 275 of them that are set up. And we hold them to we call them throughput standards. They have to get 80% at least of their vaccines out within 7 days to stay with the program, or we start pulling vaccines back. That has gotten a lot of shots into a lot of people. The second channel, though, to recognize that not everybody can go to a pharmacy or a healthcare center. The next is to make sure that we have these mass vaccination sites. Now again, and we talked to, I think, the North Central County Commissioners have the same issue, and they were talking about where would a mass, with the supply problem, you got to pick one place. So what's a one central place? And the county commissioners up there actually agreed in State College that would be a place. And as one of the county commissioners said, I guess we go 2 hours to a Penn State game, I guess we can travel 2 hours to get a shot. Now, not everybody can do that. And so we know that not everybody can do that, but that does take people off the waiting list. That does get shots into arms, and it reduces the number of people who are remaining. The third channel, we've got to figure out how we affirmatively get out to people. And we're talking like mobile clinics, the area agencies on aging have Meals on Wheels programs, and we've worked with them in some ways to piggyback on that. So there are a lot of ideas, and I think we keep thinking about all kinds of new things. This is one of the recurring topics of conversation, because we recognize, just as you said, that not everybody can make the trip to a vaccination site.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Your time for one more?
Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Thanks again for all of you.
Thank you, Governor.
Thanks.